the recap for the nomination episode of Big Brother on Monday. We don't have very many left, do we? We've only got two more.
Yeah, we have Wednesday and then next Monday, and then next Wednesday is the finale.
Right. Yeah. So I actually didn't tell you about this prior, but we believe, and this is tentative, if you're watching this, guys, that me, David, Kylie, and Trish from the Reality Girls are going to do a live on Thursday after the show airs. And I'm sorry, Thursday. The finale is on Wednesday. We're going to do an episode or a recap on Thursday over the entire season as a whole. So what we liked, what we didn't like, our favorite players of the season. What's going on, Kim? My favorite players of the season, what we hated, all of it. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Russell is going to be on that with us. So
awesome.
So that'll be fun. So that'll be Thursday. Not this Thursday, but the following Thursday, the day after the finale, at I believe 7 p.m. Central Time. So we'll be there. It'll be exciting. It'll be fun, guys. We'll go ahead. We'll get into this real quick. Let's be honest. We're in the final four. Not a whole lot going on in the house. This recap may be shorter than most. We'll see. But the first thing, as we always do, the first thing we see in the episode is Nicole goes to Christmas and goes, "Are you okay? We just got rid of your best friend." Like, what was that? Why did she even do that?
Is she trying to be genuine? I don't really understand what the point of that was either.
It's like a backhanded compliment. It's like, hey, I know you're feeling sorry, but we did it. I did it. Here I am. Are you sad? I didn't understand the point of it. It was dumb to me. Like, why didn't say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, we had to get rid of him"? Don't say it like she did.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she's just tapping into her past nurse techniques where she tries to be comforting to a patient who's mourning the loss of someone or whatever. I have no clue, but yeah, there was no need for Nicole to do that. It was kind of weird.
Right. And then Nicole basically is like, now we see this Nicole that she wants everything. She wants the power, she wants the credit, she wants everything in the house, she wants it all, and she's claiming the Memphis eviction. So that's her. I guess that's what she's going to use if she gets to the final two. And yeah, you're right, Melissa. She got zero self-awareness. Zero. But I guess if she makes it to the final two, that's going to be her calling card, isn't it? That she got out Memphis?
Right. I mean, that's her big move because it took her up until the final five to win not only the HOH but the vetoes. So she was able to sweep the week where she probably got one of the bigger competitors in the game left in Memphis out. So, I mean, that's a good talking point to bring up to the jury. And, I mean, you got to add on the fact that if you get to the end as a winner, that's another thing to be proud of. But, what else has she really done in this game? That's the big question. And that's what she's going to have to explain to the jury.
I mean, she may have a chance, but we'll get into that in just as far as to make another move, but we'll get to that in just a second. So we go to Enzo. Enzo flat out says that he says, "I don't know chess, but I know traps." Just like Enzo, that doesn't make any sense, but you know what? I'll go with it because you're my guy. Like, I'll go with it. All it is just making L's. That's all we got to do in this HOH. It's just plan 3 steps ahead, make some L's, make sure you've always got 2 spots. That's all you got to do. Make sure you've always got 2.
It's simple. It really, I mean, it refers to chess and whatever that chess piece is and what moves they can make, but it's just simple, like you said, just 3 moves ahead, and you want to make sure that you can block out your opponents or go after them in a way where they run out of moves before you do. So it's simple. And it's a nice throwback.
Yeah, I like these old school competitions. They're some of my favorites. This chess one was one of my favorites. The night, was it called the Night Watch or the Night Moves or what was it?
I think it's like the Night Moves. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But I want to make sure we emphasize this before we get any further. So they go into the DRs and they're talking about who they want to win the HOH, right? So I want to make sure we understand. Nicole said she wanted Enzo to win the HOH.
Yep.
So we'll leave that as it is. We'll return to that in just a minute. But basically, Nicole says she wants Enzo to win. Cody and Christmas are basically going at each other from the very beginning. We already know that in the DRs. They've said that. And then Christmas wants Enzo to win. Right? So she wants Enzo to win. So we get into it, and I don't understand why Christmas started off. So they got to pick their own spots. Christmas picks first, and she picks close to a corner. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, that was just really setting herself up for failure because, we'll see later in the episode, but for some reason she gets angry at Cody for going right after her, but that's exactly what Cody does. He goes right after her and attempts to put her in a corner, which is the right strategy to do, because if you try and corner her, it's just going to limit the moves she's able to make moving forward. So, kind of maybe just a mental blunder. These reality shows, when you get to the end of a long season, such as in Survivor or such as even in Big Brother, you tend to have these mental lapses, and that might have just been that by Christmas, but definitely not a good decision.
Melissa, I understand your point here, Melissa, but I don't think I necessarily agree with it because he was in multiple alliances. He was juggling a lot of personal relationships. And even though people pregame, when you get into that game, there's still things that happen, right? Like he was in the Wise Guys, he's in the Root, he's in what was that, Set 6?
Slick 6.
Slick 6, he was in that, right?
Yeah, he had the commission final 2 with Memphis as well. He had a lot of, different venues to go with. So
he didn't necessarily have to make a lot of hard decisions, but he played a good game socially to where he was always in all the alliances. He was always on the side of the numbers. He always found ways to, I don't think anybody came after Cody. Nobody has said, I need to get Cody until 5 when Christmas said that.
Right. I mean, the only people who were saying that were Janelle and Kaiser, but obviously they went out way too early in the game for anything to happen to him. And the only really tough chance or tough break that Cody could have gotten is, and this will be mentioned later in the episode, is if Enzo decided to eliminate Nicole at the triple, because that probably would have made Cody's road moving forward a little bit tougher. But it's impressive. He hasn't faced much adversity, but, do I taint it a little bit because of the pre-gaming? Yes, but you got to realize everyone pre-games. I think this is a tough double standard that we need to realize is that Dr. Will and Mike Boogie and All-Stars literally pre-games with the entire cast, yet we praise them and don't give them any slack. So you got to hold people to the same standard. And I'll give Cody, he's playing a great game, and it's really looking good for him so far to take home the 500K. But, the pre-gaming definitely taints it a bit because he did, to an extent, he had this game given to him on a silver platter. But as you said, he had to do his own things.
Right, you still have to play the game. You could be in there with Alliance, but it only takes one HOH for somebody to say, I'm done with this, I'm doing something different. And he was able to stay in those relationships, keep them strong.
Right, this was a season of inches where Janelle was inches away from winning that 3rd HOH, Kaiser was inches away from winning that 4th HOH, and then Dave Vaughn was inches away from winning that 5th HOH. So anything could have happened, and I mean, good on Cody for getting himself into the right situations where he's protected if he wins HOH or if he doesn't.
So one of the questions I had is, so Cody was next, right? So Christmas picks a spot kind of in the corner. Cody's next. Was there a rule in place, do you think, that he couldn't take a place that was already one of her squares? Because he took a spot 1 square outside of one of her moves. Did you see that?
I did notice that. Yeah. There might have been on that.
Yeah, I wonder if they told him, and we just didn't see it, that you guys all pick your own squares, but you can't pick a square that's in the space of somebody else that already has a square to start off, right? Because if that's the case, wherever she picks, if like she picked that corner, they should have just picked a square she could move to and another square she could move to, and then she's cornered to only one spot.
Right, and that probably would have made the game go a lot quicker for sure.
Right, so maybe they made that. That's the only thing I was thinking is maybe they made that rule. But Cody goes into it basically saying, "Hey, look, it doesn't matter if you or I win to Enzo as long as Christmas doesn't win." And he went after her. Every time she made a move, he was chasing her. And then you've got
practically stalking her.
Yeah, then you've got our boy Enzo, who's just like, I ain't getting in that. I'm not about to do that. I'm going to stay over here where all the good spots are. I'm not doing it. I'm staying in between.
You two can fight it out, yo. That's it, yo. I'm going to do my own thing in the corner, yo. So, I mean, honestly, we'll get into this more for sure, but I don't blame that strategy by Enzo. He just knew that Cody wanted Christmas out and Christmas wanted Cody out. The inevitable is going to happen. They're both going to go after each other. So why not make sure you still have as many moves as possible and stay the heck away from them?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna rant and rave about freaking Nicole and Christmas here coming up pretty soon. I don't want to say that. I was gonna say stupid. It's not stupid. It's just like they don't seem to understand the game.
This was the satisfying part of the episode to me, is we've seen them get their way all the time and be like, so haha, everyone else sucks and I'm the greatest. And to see them finally have to face some adversity and not get their way was it was satisfying. In a season full of disappointments, I was glad that they didn't get their way for once.
Right. So you've got these two pulling on a strategic game with Christmas and Enzo. I'm sorry, Christmas and Cody. And then you got Enzo over there with everything on the board. He can go anywhere he wants. And you still hear this man counting 1, 2, 3. I'm like, Enzo, just pick a square. Just pick any square. Like, it does. You're so over there, it doesn't even matter. They're not going to come over next to you. You could make a long L. It wouldn't even matter at this point. Like, just pick a square and go there. But he's like, I'm like, man, come on. Like, just stop counting out loud. Like, you don't have to do that.
Right. And yeah, it's just completely unnecessary. Cody and Christmas easily catch on to what he's doing. It's like, I'm not going to say it's like showboating, but it's just weird. Like, do you not know how to count, yo? That's math, yo.
Yeah, so if you guys don't already know, Enzo ends up winning the HOH. They basically knock each other out. Christmas and Cody basically eliminate the moves for each other. Well, actually, Cody basically knocks out Christmas, knocks himself out in the way of doing it. But who is Jackie?
That's what I was wondering too. He was just, I didn't know if that was like someone in his life. I don't think it's one of his kids' names, but he's just like, Jackie, and then he's like, final 3 again, yo.
Yeah, if anybody in the chat, or watches knows who Jackie is, let us know. I don't have a clue who it is.
And shout out at the beginning of the competition, they made a Jackson Mickey reference, Nicole, when reading the directions. She said it's time to play chess and not checkers. And the first thing I thought of was Jackson from last summer with all those amazing quotes.
Yeah. I think that was a reference to it, but yeah. So Christmas. So this is where I feel like Christmas just like she knows what's going on in the game. I feel like, or I thought she did, but she kind of knows what's going on in the game, and she goes up to after the challenge. They're still outside. Christmas goes up to Cody and goes, "Why are you chasing me?" Like just kind of joking. And I was like, okay, she's just trying to make it known that she's not happy that he tried to chase her. He's trying to ruin her game. She just wants to make sure I see you, Cody. But then she says, "Bit you in the butt, didn't it?" And I'm like, do you not understand that Cody did this on purpose so that you would not win? Like, he was trying to win and not let you win. Like, he fell on the sword specifically so you couldn't win.
And as the episode continues, it's so hard to watch. Christmas lacks so much game awareness to understand that, yeah, Cody didn't win the HOH, but Enzo won HOH, which is practically the next best thing for Cody. So the fact that she didn't realize that and still didn't realize as the episode was progressing that Cody is closer to Enzo than he is to Christmas, just ridiculous. Of course he's going to do that because he's set up well either way. All he has to do is get you out of the competition.
What has changed in her mind from 6 to 5 to 4 to where now they're going to be working with her? The past 2 weeks we've seen, she said in her DRs, it's me and Tyler against everybody. It's me and so-and-so. I think who was the other person? I forget now, but it's me and so-and-so against everybody. Like, you're at 4 now, and those same people that were against you 2 weeks ago are still there. What makes this a surprise to you?
You tried to vote out Nicole in the triple eviction, but, whatever. I guess she still thinks that they're together. And then she's been trying for weeks to get Cody out of this game, like you said, since Final 6 and still now. So, again, I don't understand why she doesn't realize that. She has this thing going on in her head that she thinks I may be going after people, but let me turn it around and they're going to be working with me. That's just not how Big Brother works. It's just ridiculous.
It's a lack of, like you said, it's a lack of awareness. So we'll go back to the fact that Nicole wanted Enzo to win HOH. That's what she said. Am I right or wrong? That's what she said. She said she wants him to win. He wins HOH, but now she doesn't trust him. Now, because he didn't work with Cody, she doesn't trust Enzo. So all this work she's put in, all these weeks that she's put in with Enzo, and she trusts Enzo like that, she decides, oh no, now I don't trust him. I don't want him to have HOH. What?
And yeah, that was really cringy to watch because she also said she whined and complained, and she's like, why can't Enzo be a team player for once? Nicole, Enzo is a team player by not sending you home in the triple eviction. If that doesn't speak team player, I don't know what does. So I just don't get the hypocrisy. And Cody says about 18 times in that competition in the DR that he's really frustrated with the way Enzo is playing. And then Nicole saying she finally sees Enzo's true colors. How dare he play for himself at the Final Four? All he wants to do is win the HOH. That's literally verbatim of what both of them said. It's just ridiculous. Like, now you don't trust him, and you don't think he's a team player, even though you wanted him to win HOH, and that's exactly what happened. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I see Melissa in the chat said that she giving Christmas credit because Christmas is the only one who's taking shots at the big players. But when did she take those shots? Because if I remember right, she won veto. She had powers. Did she win one HOH? I can't remember.
She won the HOH right before jury where Bailey went home.
That's right. So these big threats that she's wanting to get out now, she had opportunities with her powers and her HOH and her vetoes, but she did everything for the team. And since then, I don't think she's made any huge moves. I could be wrong. Am I missing anything there? I don't think she's talked about it in the DR. She's done what we like to attack Enzo for, saying they're going to do all this and do that, but I don't think she's actually done it.
She's playing the same exact game as she did last time, except this time she has 2 feet. But, I mean, other than that, look, she's put herself in a position where when he gets a 4th or 3rd place, just like last time, the people she's surrounded don't want to take her to the end, and that's what's happening this time again. So, I appreciate her finally coming around to thinking, like, oh, I need to split up Cody and Nicole, or maybe it's time to take a shot at Enzo, one of these big players left. But too little, too late.
Right. Yeah. And Christmas basically says Cody in a DR goes, he attacked me. He came at me. And I'm like, this is a game. There's 3 people left. Like, this is it.
He doesn't want to move forward with you in this game. So, of course, he's going to try and get you out.
Yeah. You should be equally mad at Enzo for not helping you. Like, at what point do you go up to Enzo and Matt say, you didn't help me? No, she's just focusing on Cody.
And she was the one in her HOH to Davon and Bailey preaching how this game can't be made personal, but she feels personally attacked by the fact Cody went out of his way to get out someone who he feels threatened by out of the game. She's just hypocritical.
I'm so disgusted with her gameplay right now, just in this particular episode, that it caused me to look away. I looked at my TV and I see an 80-yard touchdown pass for the Arizona Cardinals. So yeah, Christmas I can't win with Christmas right now. I can't win with her. But so Enzo does a DR. He's HOH and he's starting to spout out all these things he wants to do right at Final Four. Like he wants to put Cody on the block because Cody's the only one that hadn't been on a block. He said it doesn't matter to him, which is true. Like it doesn't matter to him who's on the block.
Right. It all comes down to the veto.
At this point, if I were in the game, I would have made it kind of a joke with Cody. Like, I don't know. I've never played the game, so I don't know how serious that is. But I would have made a joke with Cody and put him on the block and made the joke that, hey, I'm the only one that didn't get on the block. Like, but I imagine if you play in the game, it's a little bit more serious than that because that's something you're taking away from somebody at Final Two, But
right. It's funny because talking about jokes, just a quick reference in season 19 when that Jason, the cowboy guy, when he got eliminated in that huge blindside, he said in his post-game interviews when it was the tied 2-2 and then Christmas voted to evict him to break the tie as HOH, he said, he's like, even when I knew it was 2-2, I still thought I was safe against Kevin because I literally thought that Paul and Alex were playing a joke on me and they're like, haha, we tied it up just to make you scared, but then they voted me out. So, just funny, but those types of jokes can, backfire for sure.
Yeah, what are they gonna do though? Like it's like there's literally one more competition after the veto, and I mean, have some fun with it.
It's all about the timing with the jokes, and I mean, you You never know who you're dealing with. They might perceive the joke as malicious. Who knows?
But we need to toughen them up. We need to get in there and do just crazy stuff and hurt people's feelings and look at them, stare them in the face and say, hey, be an adult. All right? We get too much crying, too much of this stuff where, oh, woe me, too much. It's too much. I don't want to see it no more. No more.
Like we said, 16 Memphises in the house.
I mean, that's a nightmare and a dream, isn't it? Good Lord. Yeah, so this is where your girl and Russell's girl, Christmas, just goes off the rocker with not understanding the game, has no idea about the game. So she goes up to Enzo, and she's basically not, without pleading and begging, she's saying, I don't want to go on the block. Don't put me on the block. Like, this is a pointless conversation. You're wasting time. This does not matter.
It doesn't matter, and I just cringe because have these players who got asked back for All-Stars, have they seen any Big Brother besides the seasons they've been on? Do you realize, as we just said, in the Final Four, nominations don't matter. Veto basically decides who goes home, and she's worried about going on the block in the Final Four. But these are our All-Stars, apparently.
Yeah, and this is what I would do if I ever was in, and I'm telling you guys everything that I would do. It'd probably not work, but here's what I would do if I was the Final Four HOH. And I'm sure Enzo, I don't watch the feeds. I'm sure Enzo probably did this at one point. Look, I won the HOH at Final Four. I have no power. Zero. The only thing I've done is protect myself.
Only thing is you're guaranteed Final Three. That's it.
That's it. So if you want to come up here and talk to me, if you want to come up here and talk to me about Final Two. Don't talk to me about Final Three, because that conversation is absolutely pointless because there's nothing that I can do. Now, if you want to talk about if you make it to Final Three, what are we going to do if I make it to Final Three? Now we can have a discussion, right? Because now we've got things that I have some control over possibly. But don't waste my time. Like, it's just, I guess, and I'm in the episode, Cody has the same issue. He's like, I just want to be alone. Like, we're good. There's nothing we can do at this point. I just want to relax. I just want to chill. And Christmas don't want none of it. She wants to small talk and talk game. And I'm just like, come on, like, just relax.
I mean, he's playing it really well, though, because these moments, if Cody were to blow up in that scene and he's just like, no Christmas, I don't care about your talent show in high school, I could care less, like, screw off. These types of moments, if you do that to someone like Christmas, it could cost him a jury vote. So he's playing these situations well. Underrated parts of his game for sure.
It's actually coming up in just a second, but I don't want to skip over all of this here. We got a couple more things that happen before that. Enzo basically addresses that he wants Nicole out. He says in the DR, he said, yeah, Nicole, that's it. Like, she's got to go. That's his target. Makes it very clear. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We've said he doesn't have any power, but he said, hey, with my nomination, that's just where I want to go, but he can't do anything about it. It's all about the veto.
Right, and he wants Nicole out because if Christmas and Cody are with him in the Final Three, they're both going to take Enzo over the other, so it would be the perfect situation for him. And we also get to see a little bit of buyer's remorse in the DR from Enzo, where he's starting to realize, dang, maybe I should have gotten rid of Nicole at the triple eviction, because now this has put me in a tough predicament where looking forward after this week, I'm safe now, but it's going to be tough for me to get in one of those final two seats.
Yeah, we've got Christmas who says to herself, I need to cool my jets, but I'm gonna go talk to Cody about this HOH competition. And they start talking, she goes, why'd you come after me? And is she what is she expecting the response to be? Before we say what the response is, what do you think she thought the response would be to that question?
I mean, why did you come at, like, was she expecting Cody to, like, kiss up to her or something? Like,
I think in her head, she was thinking Cody would apologize, say he was mistaken, and she would have a power move on him socially and be like, yeah, you messed up. Like, that's what I think she thought would happen.
Probably.
That's going to happen.
She still thinks that's kind of it's weird. She doesn't want it to be a team sport at Final Four, but she also thinks it's a team sport at Final Four where other people should sacrifice their chance at winning HOH to help her. And
then Cody looks her square in the eyes. I'm talking square, like he's looking into her pupils and skin, and he's going, I want you out.
I wanted you out, and I'm going to follow you around the board.
Yeah, zero response. She's just sitting there like she went, Huh?
And you can see her like trying to process it. She's like twitching with her finger. She's like, her face is getting red. She's like, okay, all right.
Our weekly Christmas passive aggressiveness anger. That's what it's time for. Every week we have a spot where Christmas just gets upset and mad, you know? And you know what? I'm not, hey, in the game, it's a frustrating game. Outside the house, maybe she's not like that. But in the house, when something doesn't go how she thinks it should go, she's got some microaggressions she's got to address. It's a leak in her game. When I play a lot of poker, all my friends, we talk about it. We ask each other, hey, what's the biggest leak in your game? For a little while, mine was I liked to drink while I played cards. The more I drank, the more money I lost. I had to fix it, right? Christmas in her game, in her Big Brother game, needs to learn to control those microaggressions. How many times have we sat here and discussed just one-liners that she throws out at people when she's upset?
She needs to. I don't think we'll ever see her again on Big Brother. Like, I think we can put that set in stone. We will not see Christmas 3.0, but her first 2 times playing this game, all we have seen with her is just her. She's getting so rude and abrasive and just not learning to chill out, where she starts playing off really well, but then she gets in a huge fight and it really tanks her game and any chances of her winning in the end. And then people don't want to take her to the end because she's too tough to beat physically or emotionally. So,
the chat, Twitter, everybody is so rough on Chris. Like, who do you think is going to have a harder time when they leave the house? And I think the obvious answer may not be the right one. Do you think it's Nicole or Christmas? Who has a harder time when they come out?
I'm still going to say Nicole. I mean, she kind of got an inkling that she lost sponsors by the DR, by production, but really she's going to be getting a lot of hate when she leaves. But she has $500,000 in a wedding coming up to back up on, so she might be able to go over it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think Christmas is going to have a hard time because Nicole's going to have a hard time because of things she's actually done and said. Christmas is going to have a hard time because Big Brother fans, as a player, just generally don't like her. Like, just the way she plays the game, the way she carries herself in the game, they just don't enjoy. Very few people enjoy watching her play the game. I'm sure she has a fan base. In fact, we know of one diehard, Russell Hantz, loves Christmas, right? But there's not that many people. So I think when she gets out of the house, she's going to think she had some sort of a vindication, which maybe she did. Maybe this is a vindication for her because the first time it was like an asterisk, like we talked about, because she broke her foot. She got brought back into the house. Now she's back again. She made it to Final Four, possibly Final 3, Final 4. But maybe it's, maybe she's been vindicated herself in her mind. But when she leaves the house, I don't think the fans will feel the same way.
It'll depend on if that time where she leaves the house and gets back onto social media, that little time, if she's able to develop some self-awareness. Because if she isn't, it's going to be really tough for her because I believe I've been seeing things on Reddit where she's saying on the feeds that this is like the best season ever, which is the farthest thing from the truth. So
it's fine if she thinks that, though, because if you're in the house and you think that, that's 100% fine and okay. But when you get out of the house and you see the response, it's you're right. It's how you respond to that. It's do you dig your feet in and say, no, this was the best season that Big Brother has ever put on, or do you watch it? Do you listen to the critiques and go, yeah, we messed up there. Yeah, we shouldn't have done that. I don't know if Christmas is that way. I don't know her personally, but just from when I see her to play the game, I think she's the kind that digs down. She digs her feet in, and she'll say, no, this was great. This was an amazing season.
Right. I hope no one attacks her personally. Like, as Jervis said in Survivor, you can hate the player in the game, but don't hate the player like out of the game. Obviously, it's not verbatim. Just leave it on the court. Don't on her family. Yeah,
everything I'm saying is just in the game. Like outside the game, sure, she's wonderful. I'd love for her to come on the Russell Hantz show and talk, and we could discuss this because Russell loves her as a game player. I'm not too fond of her. I'd love to discuss this with her. That'd be awesome. I don't know if she will. Because a couple of us, I say us as the Russell Hantz show in general, I've been pretty hard on Christmas. Pretty hard. Nicole, never coming on the show. She'll never be here. It's just not going to happen. She's going to watch 2 or 3 of whatever this is and the other shows that we got, and she's going to be like,
cross it off the list. That and, yeah.
We're good. I'm just going to stay here, and I'm just going to read all the mean tweets. I'm not going on your show. It's just... Right. It is what it is. But anyway, Let's see where I forgot. See, we went down there, and I done forgot where we were. We're Christmas and Cody, where she go, and he says basically, "I wanted you out." So we go to the HOH room, and we get to see Enzo's family. And Enzo and Cody are. Did I miss this? I think I misunderstood. Like I knew why Enzo wanted to wear the shades, because he was going to get emotional reading the letter. But was Cody trying to keep him from wearing the glasses because he wanted to see the emotion, or did Cody want to wear the glasses? I wasn't sure which one it was.
I'm leaning towards the former, where he wanted to see Enzo get emotional because he's just like, get the shades off. So, maybe that's like, I don't know, the Italian or whatever, like trying to get the emotional side out of his fellow Italian brother. But, probably just want to see Enzo get emotional.
Yeah, I thought he wanted to wear them for a few seconds. I was like, dude, leave the man alone and let him wear his HOH glasses, man. Leave him alone.
Cody trying to control everything.
I know. This man, control freak. Absolute control freak.
Just let me wear the shades. Like I should wear them. Like, honestly.
Yeah, he finally gives up. They do the HOH thing where they read the letter. Nice letter, not a whole lot in it. I did have a cute little photo of his kids wearing Team Enzo shirts, which I'm sure that meant a lot to him. I don't have kids, but I do have a puppy dog, and I know if I was in the house and I saw my boy here, Emmett, wearing a Team Cam shirt, and I was in the house, I'd probably break down a little bit too. So I can't imagine with the kids, but
for sure, not being able to see any of your loved ones for 70 plus days would be tough on anyone for sure.
Yeah. So Cody kind of does this little lighthearted pass at Enzo, basically saying, you messed up, man. You were playing Switzerland, kind of jokingly saying it to him. And Enzo, I think he should have just owned it, but he decided to kind of try to still play it a little bit and say that he was protecting the alliance and going over there and like keeping the open squares to make sure one of them won. Cody didn't buy it. He was like, I don't buy any of that.
Enzo did. Not that it really matters, but Enzo kind of did a bad job with that scenario because he said cornering Christmas wasn't a good strategy because it risked both of them losing in the end of Christmas when if them two are going in at Christmas, even if one of them gets sacrificed, they still have 50% odds. I don't know. Enzo didn't handle that conversation really well, but it doesn't matter. He won.
Yeah, he's safe. Like Enzo could literally do anything he wants at this point. Honestly, like it really doesn't even matter. I don't think. But final three, it's a whole nother beast. But So let's see. All right. Cody says he's Switzerland, and then you kind of discussed this earlier, where you said that Enzo, he's looking back on his game and he's feeling like he wished he would have voted Nicole out back at the triple.
And look. As much as I love Enzo, you love Enzo. I'm sure a lot of people in the chat love Enzo, but I really hate to say it, and I've been saying this for a few recaps now. It looks like we're looking at another third-place finish from the Meow Meow because he came into this season thinking that the only mistake he made from Season 12 was not winning that final HOH and not the fact that he put two people in front of him, and Lane and Hayden, who are way better at competitions, in front of him. He thinks that the only thing he should have done was just win the comp at the end. And he's making the same mistakes this round. And I love Enzo for it, but you start to see buyer's remorse, as I said, where he's realizing that Nicole and Enzo are probably going to take each other over him if that's what ends up being the final three. So it's going to be a tough road ahead for him. And as much as I love the Meow Meow, he was all meow meow and no bite this season. And it's going to come back to on him.
I mean, people seem to agree with it here. Like he's going to be third place. He could go out there and win. He could win HOH, and if he goes to the finals, he has a good argument. He has a good argument. I'm biased though. I'm a huge Russell Hantz fan. I'm thinking about the show here. I'm a huge Enzo fan.
The thing, my question is, though, do you think Enzo would be able to articulate his game well in front of a jury? Because he's played so low-key, and the way he talks, like saying yo every time, and like just his mannerisms, I feel like he might have a tough time communicating everything he's done in the game. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think so, because when he won HOH, you saw he kind of got excited and unloaded, how he felt. When he goes and he talks to his people that he works with, like when he pumps them up, like he goes, that's all we got to do, man. We got to win. We got to focus. We got to do that. Like he lays it out. Like I think if he gets to the final two, I think he 100% could talk to the jury and directly say things to him. I think a lot of this image that he has, this meow meow, this clueless guy that doesn't really win challenges, I think he plays that up a lot. I think he's a super smart guy. He's not making the moves that we think he should make, but yeah, he's third. He's at least third place. And I think if he got to the jury, he could explain why he did those things, why he sided here, why he talked to these people, how he never ended up on the block, those kinds of things. But I think he could. But
biggest thing is, and I'm sure Enzo's probably thinking this as well, he's got to separate his game from Cody, whether he's sending to Cody at the end or not, because a lot of those people in the jury probably think of him as a Cody puppet, so that's just going to be the biggest thing for him. But it'd definitely be interesting. Enzo against really anyone left in the finals would be an interesting combo.
Anybody except Christmas can win, no matter who they're up against, I think. That's just me. I'm just being honest. Like, I think if Christmas goes out, any one of the three can win at this point.
I think so. And it really all comes down to the final HOH. As we've talked about, I feel like if Cody or Nicole win, they're going to take each other. And if Enzo wins, I hope he doesn't take Cody, but you never know. He might want to honor their Jersey final too. He should take Nicole, but it's really all comes down to the final HOH.
Right. Yep. Let's see here. We addressed that. Yeah, and so I've never identified with somebody in the game as much as I did with Cody when he was laying on the couch just trying to relax, and you've got Christmas over there just trying to yip-yap for no reason, with no substance in the conversation. This is also a pet peeve of mine when I'm talking with somebody, is when we're having a conversation, when you ask me leading questions so that I ask a question in return that you already have an answer for, I hate that. Like, I just despise that. I would rather, so for example, Christmas said, have you ever been in a talent show? And Cody's like, no, not really. And then she said something else, and she wants him to ask what the dance was, right? I would have much preferred Christmas just go, have you ever been in a talent show? He goes, no. And she goes, do you want to see my dance that I did when I was in a talent show? Then Cody can just go, yeah, sure.
Right. And
you're not making him ask. And I completely understand what Cody's saying. I don't, if you want to do it. But, don't make me ask you to do it. It's just, I don't know. It's like a pet peeve of mine. I don't know if you feel the same way about that, but that's just me.
No, for sure. I mean, and you could tell Christmas was just itching Cody, come on, Cody, keep the conversation going. I want to show my dance.
You can see her literally, she was leaning forward, waiting for him to ask so she could jump up. And I also think that if you're going to do something like that, know the damn routine. If they're going to ask you to do it, know the routine that you're about to do. Don't make him ask you when he doesn't want to, and then make him wait while you remember it. Go to the bathroom, think about it, get the cha-cha-cha in your head, and go back, and then do it. Then ask him, right? I'm because that's just a double whammy at this point. Now you're making me ask you. Now I got to wait on this. Now I got to watch you practice. I don't even care about this. It's crazy.
Whether that was editing or not, when she finally went through it, you could tell Cody wasn't even looking at her. He was just looking up at the ceiling. He's like, ha, 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 this is so
crazy. He had his hat was like this.
Right. The shades. Right.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe she's just one of those people that if she feels like she's getting attention, that's all she cares about. As long as you are in the room with her and giving her, yep, okay. As long as you're giving her those, hey, maybe you're golden. I don't know. But it was wild to watch unfold. I was like, this is just enough. Just enough already. But
with scenes like that, that's when you know you're at the final four of a Big Brother season, when those make the air.
Right. Speaking of another scene that makes the air because there's not a lot going on is Nicole sneezing. The episode is really hitting a lot of my pet peeves, and I didn't really think I had a lot of them, but I'm seeing some of these things happen, and I'm like, I couldn't handle that. So sneezing to me, especially during this COVID time frame, it's I'm heightened to it. So anytime somebody sneezes around me, I don't mean to be a jerk, but like I get weirded out, like because they're like I think in the particles they're on me now. Like whatever was inside you is now on me. Like and now that we got the COVID thing, I'm like I don't want to do with this.
That scene definitely traumatized a good portion of America with especially what's going on in the world right now. And there was like that scene just seems so out of place because I literally thought when I was watching that, I'm like, oh, haha, they're setting up Nicole to fall in the pool. Like this is going to be a funny scene, like when she fell out of the hot tub, because they had like this weird like helicopter noise playing, and it's like building her up, like she's putting on the sunscreen, and then she sits down and just starts sneezing like 10 times. I'm like,
we're about to see some sort of a gameplay. I thought she was about to like say to herself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go talk to this person, and I'm going to make a deal. And then she sneezes 5 times.
And I thought there would have been some like fired up Nicole DR saying like, I'm a one-time winner and I'm about to become the first 2-time winner. But no, we just get her sitting down, sun tanning, sneezing. She didn't even fall in the pool. There's no entertainment value from that scene at all.
Side note, so my roommate, just a quick story about sneezing, is my roommate was in the passenger seat and I was driving my truck, and he knows that like body odor, bad breath, sneezing, sweating. Like if I'm not in an athletic arena, like sweating is awful for me. Like I can't be around it, anything like that. And I'm driving and I have a sneeze that comes out of absolute nowhere. Like I'm driving, I don't have time to do this number. I don't have time to like arm it. I just sneeze all over the place. And you could see, it was like those times where the sun is like going down. So like when you sneeze, you can see everything that I just sneezed, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
All over his arm. And he just looks at me and he's like, you never get to talk to me about this again. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, look, I don't know what to do at this point. Like I feel as disgusted with myself right now.
Oh, God. The world will never be the same with sneezing.
Right. Yeah, Kirk, I don't know if you're sitting here trying to get brownie points with Russell Hantz. Look, you can join the Patreon group as little as $5 a month. I think you might already be a patron. I don't know, but you don't have to get brownie points like this. Just join the group, and he'll talk to you. He'll do lives, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, but we know how Russell feels about her, so I'm sure he agrees with that 100%. But yeah, so we got the sneeze. We marked that off. Then we got there's not a lot going on here because this next thing is non-gameplay either, but it's funny. I didn't realize his nose was that long, but we've got Cody's insecure about his nose. Like, this is quite honestly, and you can disagree with me if you'd like. You can stay neutral if you'd like. Cody is probably the best-looking guy that's ever played the game. I would venture to say he's probably the best-looking guy, right?
I don't know. Dr. Will definitely thinks he's number one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, completely heterosexual man, no problem. I think Cody might be the best looking man that's ever played in the Big Brother game. But he apparently has everything going for him except that nose. And he did the profile. I never realized that nose does droop a little bit. You saw it, right?
I saw that too, and part of me felt bad for him because he was finally opened up about an insecurity in his life, and the first thing Enzo does is laugh at him.
And I would do the exact same thing, like not in a mean, rude way, but it's like a conversation between guys, like it's just funny. It's like when you have like a jammed finger or like a bruised finger, and the first thing I would do is I just go grab the finger and just kind of laugh a little bit. Like it's just funny.
Right. That's the other half of me is like, okay, these are just two bros broing out doing typical guy stuff. So, yeah, he opens up about his insecurity, and then Enzo, even in the DR, he can't even stop laughing. He's like, Mr. Perfect is all insecure about his little nose. It's a big little nose. That was an exact quote from Enzo. And just, little typical Final Four scene once again. We're talking about nose insecurities.
So we got a lot going on in the chat right now as far as disagreements with me here. We've got, hold on, let's go through this. We've got Kim says no way. No way. Right? So she's not a Cody. She does not think Cody's attractive. Let's see here. We've got Melissa. We're on the same page. He's an attractive man. I don't even know what to say about this. Kurt, listen.
He kind of turned kind of freaky in his season when he shaved off his whole head and grew a beard, and
we've got the real VB here, who I've never understood the Kaser love. Like, honestly, I get it. Like, maybe he's an attractive guy, but women love this guy. Like, they love Kaser.
Women on Reddit too. A lot of them have been saying like crazy stuff. I'm not going to repeat it. This is a family friendly podcast, but you can just look at any Reddit thread and see people thirsting over Kaser.
Yeah, and then we got Jeff Schroeder. I knew he was going to come up. Everybody loves Jeff Schroeder there. But
except for the clown shoe. The clown shoe doesn't love Jeff.
No, he hates him. but yeah, so we got Cody's nose. Enzo laughs at him, does a profile, and he basically says, if you win that $500K, I know what you can spend that money on, my man. He just kind of laughs some more. It's kind of harmless fun, but
Right.
All right. And then we get to the end, and if we hadn't already had enough, Christmas still doesn't know that the veto is the only thing that matters. She feels backstabbed. She feels blindsided. She feels like nobody's with her, which is true. And she just doesn't understand why she's on the block.
Right. And she actually did say at a DR towards the end of the episode, she's like, I know nominations don't matter that much when it comes to the veto. And I'm like, it took you a full episode and God knows a day or so to understand that it really comes down to the veto and noms don't matter at the final four. So she has this pitch to Enzo where she's saying it would be your move if you get out Cody this week. Cody hasn't been on the block. You can break that streak. He's a big competitor, probably the best player of the season so far. That'd be your move to take him out. And Enzo is acknowledging all these things, but
But that's my point, though. Like, she's saying that's Enzo's move. Yeah, he goes out on Enzo's HOH. But Enzo doesn't make the move. Whoever wins the veto is who makes the move. Enzo's move this week is keeping himself safe. That's his move. It's the only move he has. That's it. The winner of the veto, if it's not Cody, can take Cody out, and that's their move. So why is she trying to sell this move to the HOH who can't do anything? That's your move. That's what Enzo should have said. Hey, that's all I got. Taking Cody out, that's your move. I can't do that. There's nothing I can do here.
Right. And it's just at this point for Christmas, she probably already sees the writing on the wall, and she's just throwing she's throwing gum on the wall and hoping it sticks by arguing that to Enzo. But, you're definitely right. Enzo just guaranteed his own safety, which we hear a lot in the Big Brother game by winning this HOH. But it comes down to the other three to determine really who goes home.
The only scenario to where it could be his move as well is if he did win veto and use it on Christmas. I mean, then maybe that could be his move if she votes Cody out. But even still, that's not his move.
Right. She was just pointing at the fact, I guess, more so that he'd be the one to finally nominate Cody, but he obviously wouldn't be the one to get him out because obviously, as we've been saying, it would come down to the veto. But she's just basically saying you could be the one to finally pull the trigger and make Cody feel nervous and put him on the hot seat. But, again, crapshoot nominations at Final Four. It doesn't matter.
Right. Well, that's the recap, guys. Do a little housekeeping as we normally do towards the end. If you're watching the video, please like the video. It helps us out. It helps the show out. It helps the Russell Hantz show out. All of it. Those likes, simple click of the button. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification so you know when we go live every time. This is Monday, so we will be back on Wednesday to do the veto. Thursday is the eviction with Russell Hantz. Then the following Monday, we'll be back, and then we'll be back on Thursday. I don't think we're not going to do that Wednesday show because we're going to wait and do the Thursday. But we'll go over all that on next Monday.
Sure.
And Big Brother has released a little thing that they are actively casting. Looks like we may possibly have a winter season of Big Brother. It's possible. I don't know. But just a little caveat here. If you guys become members of the Russell Hantz Show Patreon group for as little as $5 a month, he will help you with your casting audition tapes. So if you become a member, he'll contact you, let you know. You message him back. He'll help you with your videos. He'll help you try to get on one of these shows. We have quite a few people who took advantage of that. They're sending him audition tapes, and he's reviewing them and letting them know what he needs to fix. He knows a lot of people that could help you out in production, friends that have gotten on the show. It's all about connections, right? Come join the group. If you guys want, just message us. Leave comments down below. We'll read them. I interact with you guys. I let you know where I'm at. You tell me where you're at on the game, and we will be back on Wednesday. You guys take care.